They say that in Washington, D.C., after midnight, when the White House lights finally dim and the long, historic corridors fall silent, something always remains awake. The common belief is that power leaves when a leader does. But that's not true at all. Power doesn't leave. It waits. This is a story about a night that was never recorded, a night that officially never happened. Ethan Brooks was a junior archivist, a young man surrounded by the ghosts of history. His job was simple, almost mundane, checking old recordings, restoring forgotten phone lines, and carefully preserving the past. It was a quiet job, especially on the night shift. At exactly 2:11 a.m., a small, unassuming red phone on his desk suddenly rang. This was impossible. That phone wasn't supposed to work. It was a relic, disconnected years ago. Ethan stared as its dusty screen flickered to life, displaying a single, chilling name: the President. For a moment, Ethan was completely frozen. His hand trembled as he reached for the receiver. He answered. A calm, confident, and unnervingly familiar voice spoke from the other end. Power never leaves this building, it said. Come to the Oval Office. And just like that, the line went dead. Every instinct screamed at him to run, to leave the building, and never look back. But a strange, compelling force drew him from his chair. He had to go. The White House corridors felt longer than usual, stretching into impossible distances. Every step he took echoed far too loudly, as if the very walls were listening, holding their breath. The grand portraits of former leaders lined the hallway, their painted faces stern and watchful. In the dim, flickering shadows, their eyes seemed darker, almost alert, following his every move. As he approached his destination, he saw the door to the Oval Office was slightly ajar. He pushed it open. The room was dark. The only light came from a single, old-fashioned desk lamp, casting a small, lonely pool of gold onto the famous, resolute desk. Behind it, a figure sat in silhouette, completely still. A voice spoke from the darkness, the same calm voice from the phone.
As why his history isn't just written.
It's repeated. Slowly, the grand leather chair began to turn. It was the President. The face was real, familiar from 1,000 news reports and photographs. But as the figure moved into the light, Ethan knew something was terribly wrong. The President's shadow on the wall behind them moved a fraction of a second too late, lagging behind their movements like a poorly synced recording. The smile on their face was frozen, stretched just a little too wide. And their eyes were deeper than they should be, reflecting not the room, but something ancient and far. Far behind Ethan, the President leaned forward, the unnatural smile never wavering. Do you hear them? They asked, their voice a low whisper. Ethan strained his ears, listening to the profound silence of the White House. And then he heard it, a faint sound, coming from far away. It was the sound of a crowd, cheering, chanting a name. But as he listened, the joyful cheers began to twist, to curdle into something else. They became screams of terror and anguish. The President placed a hand flat on the desk. These voices never disappear, they said. Every time attention is given, every time the world watches, I'm brought back here. Suddenly, the walls of the Oval Office lit up. Dozens of television screens, previously invisible, turned on by themselves. They showed chaotic scenes of campaign rallies, breaking news headlines with blaring sirens, and the blinding strobes of flashing cameras. Every single screen displayed the same message in bold block letters. Power never ends. The figure stood up, its form seeming to shimmer and distort in the flashing lights. Leadership isn't a chair, the voice said, now layered. An unnatural, a chorus of voices speaking as one. It's a place, and this place feeds on attention. Just then, the red phone on the desk began to ring again, its shrill sound cutting through the noise. The President turned to Ethan, that terrifying smile somehow growing wider. Answer it. Ethan's gaze fell to the phone's screen. Caller ID read, the people. His hand, seemingly moving on its own, picked up the receiver. 100 voices, 1,000 voices spoke at once, a tidal wave of sound rushing into his ear. It's still here. And then the lights went out. The next morning, the White House staff found the Oval Office perfectly normal. The room was pristine. There was no damage, no sign of a disturbance. The security logs showed no recordings of the night's events. And there was no trace of the junior archivist, Ethan Brooks. He was simply gone. Only a single, handwritten note remained on the desk, right where the lamp had been. It read, "Power never leaves. It waits." And even today, they say that on some nights in Washington, when the wind moves through the city just right, people who walk past the White House swear they can hear the faint, distant sound of applause coming from the Oval Office. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy stories that explore the hidden corners of our world, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have plenty more to share.